The ISSA calculator can be used in multiple ways to help you achieve your financial and operational goals. This video will detail how to use the calculator once you have built a location. If you haven't built a location yet, watch the tutorial and build a location before continuing with this video. Click the calculator icon from the top level of the area, location, facility, or special project you built out. When the calculator opens, you'll have three choices of activities: suggested bid amount, margin calculator, and labor rate calculator. All three options provide valuable data to help you manage your operations more successfully. Each calculator has editable white boxes and sliders for entering data. The gray boxes will be outputs. The first calculator we're going to look at is the suggested bid amount. This calculator was designed to help you evaluate all costs associated with performing your work and insight on what you could charge for your services. To see the calculator in action, we'll enter a few details in the white boxes. Let's say your employees are making around $10 an hour, usually about 20 hours a week, and you're going to clean this location 5 days a week. The labor to revenue rate is how much revenue is spent on labor. I'm going to assume around 40% there. The supply rate is how much revenue is going back into supplies, so we'll use about 3% there. Overhead is a representation of your other expenses, and this will likely vary depending on how large the location is and what your overhead expenses are, so we'll call this one 20% today. Some businesses will take a larger overhead rate for a larger location because they're using more resources to complete the job, and a smaller location might have a smaller overhead for the same reason. The outputs in the gray boxes will automatically calculate based upon the information you entered in the location, the ISSA times associated with your steps, and the information you entered in the white boxes. The boxes in the middle will show you the total square feet for the project, the total labor hours to perform the tasks you associated with this project, the weekly hours to allot this project, your monthly costs in labor and supplies, your monthly overhead costs, and your total monthly costs. The FTE and the suggested bid amount in the bottom right corner will tell you how many full-time equivalent employees you will need to do this job, and how much the calculator thinks you should be charging based on the variables you entered in the input boxes and sliders. Remember, the FTE or full-time equivalent box is basing its calculations off of the 20 hours a week we put into the slider and the square footage and labor hours. If it was a larger building and you were cleaning more times per week, that FTE number would be higher. One of the benefits of the calculator is if you aren't sure what your supply rates or overhead should be for your jobs, you can adjust and control those numbers and begin to get a feel for those calculations and begin to set some baseline practices for your operation or even reaffirm practices you are already doing. You can also go back to your location template and see how changing your processes can impact your operations. For example, the costs based on damp mopping the lobby of this office equate to a total monthly labor cost of $606.20 and a total monthly time of 14 hours. If I go back to the location and change the procedure to auto-scrubbing the lobby and then reopen my calculator, I learn that auto-scrubbing will save me 3 hours of time per week and around $125 per week. The margin calculator is next. This calculator is designed to start with a value you want to charge monthly for your services and see how changes in your costs will affect your profitability. Let's use that suggested bid from the last screen and plug in $1,190.75 for the target bid amount. We'll also use some of those same values from the other calculator: $10 an hour, 20 hours a week, 5 cleanings per week, 3% for supplies, and 20% for overhead. Remember, the calculator is automatically pulling the square footage and the labor hours in the middle column from the data entered when building this location. It's basing those values on the rooms and buildings from the Class A office building behind this calculator window. Based on this information, the calculator is telling us that the monthly gross margin is around $440 and the percentage is at about 37%. Just like with the bid amount calculator, this tool is intended to help you stay better informed on what you're charging, what that breakdown looks like, and gives you the ability to make adjustments where you need to. For example, if I increase the target bid amount to $1,250, my margin dollars increase by almost $46 a month and the percentage by 2. The last calculator to look at is the labor rate calculator. This calculator is designed to give you an idea of how the costs and revenue from a project can impact your labor rates. We'll use similar values from the last calculator for this one as well. 1,190.75, 20 hours, 5 cleanings a week, 3% supply rate, 20% overhead, and if we use the gross margin from the last page, it'll be the 37% we saw. The calculator is reporting an average of about $10 an hour, which we used as a base for the suggested bid amount earlier. If I reduce my overhead rate by 2%, the suggested hourly rate increases by 50 cents. To see these steps in greater detail and to learn the other ways you can use the ISSA Workloading and Bidding tool, download the PDF document from our website.